Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm back with my sister, Nathalie Henrich. How are you?
Good. I'm so good. How are you doing?
I'm awesome. I'm so excited you're here with me because I was waiting for this talk. Last time when we did it, the Wi-Fi was not on our side, but I figured this new way. So now I'm so excited. I have so many interviews lined up. I'm like, yay! So I want to introduce you guys my sister, my dear goddess sister, Nathalie Henrich. She is the advocate for divine feminine, me and her and all of you who are watching, all my goddess followers. She's a tantrika, she's a womb healer, she's a acupuncturist, right? You do that too. She's
Yes.
a single mom of three. She does retreats. She does tantra healing retreats. She doesn't. What do you do? What don't you do?
Music. Music. We forgot music.
She's also into medicine music. She plays the guitar. She's single.
Thank you.
Me. You see, this is why I love doing interviews because I love making you guys laugh.
That was good.
I'm not normal, so bear with me. So
Who wants to be normal? Nobody wants to be normal.
I want to talk about divine sexuality and the energy, the sexual energy, the creative energy, because everyone, when they talk about sexuality, they always think about sex, obviously, but
Yeah.
the energy is such a creative, powerful energy, which you teach on your Tantra retreats.
Mhm.
How do we manifest from that energy? Like, tell us all about it.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Juliet, for having me.
Oh my God, it's my
Honored and
pleasure.
blessed. Yeah, people always, it's kind of funny because when you talk about sex, everybody's like, everybody listens because like our lower chakras, they go like, woof, they're open and our animalistic instincts
I'm
come
sweating
through. And,
already.
and obviously, like anything that's subconscious and like more primal, it calls our attention without even us like being aware of it. But yeah, my mission is to get people a little bit away from the primal forces and learn how to control their sexual energy a little bit better. And with controlling, I don't mean have to have more rules or like suppressing them. With control, I mean to be more mindful and more conscious about it and to
Redirecting
use it.
them, maybe, yeah?
Yeah, and to use it in better ways other than just wanting to have sex with a lot of partners or wanting to have just like orgies and all that, which is great. It's all an adventure. And as we were younger, we have experienced all kinds of things, but like just be a little bit more mindful. And with that also comes more respect between men and women and just more respect for the other that's in front of us. And if we learn how to control that, or if you just learn more about it, then we can really do a huge step towards the universal healing, because sexuality is a disease nowadays in this world. We have so much, unfortunately, so much bad things going on because of sexuality, like child trafficking, pornography, um, domestic violence, sexual abuse, all these things. All of that is based on the primal forces, on us not controlling our primal energies. So if we learn how to deal with them better and to have other different outlets, we can really, heal a lot of these sicknesses in
Yeah.
this world. And this is why I'm so passionate about it.
I
So
hope,
yeah,
yeah.
the because you were asking, so how do we do that? So everything starts with the breath. When we are born, we the first thing we do, we breathe. And when we have
Exactly what
sex,
my teacher Taita says. That's why all the Icarus starts with the breath.
ah, yes,
So everything we bless, it's like, oof, you
I
know.
love it. I love it. And it's so powerful. These breaths are so powerful. I feel them always like,
Yeah.
yeah. Anyways, everything starts with the breath. And also when we have sex, when we kiss somebody, when we start making out, our breathing changes. And when we have intercourse, our breathing changes, and when we orgasm, our breathing changes. So obviously we all know our breath gets faster and faster, and it gets all wild and all of this. But if we really learn how to have a centered breath and learn how to control our breath from our lower chakras up into our higher realms, into the higher chakras, then we can intensify all these feelings and have an out-of-body experience, or more of an ecstatic experience. Because if you think about an orgasm, the orgasm is pretty much just down there. You kind of feel it down there. And sometimes if it was a little bit better, then you may feel it a little bit more in the body.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Nobody has.
They're not my kids.
I know my kids are here too, but they can learn. The earlier the better. So anyways, when we have an orgasm, everything is more down in our root and our sacral chakra area, you know. So and it lasts for a couple of minutes, a couple of seconds. So it goes up, whoop, and then we go and then we go and that's it basically. And some women can do and go up and down and orgasm multiple times, and then it's over, right? So in sacred sexuality, we want to go and then we want to stay like this. And ideally, we're going to go even more up. Yeah. And ideally, we're going to go even more up. So this can last like over 30 minutes or an hour. That it's like ecstasy. It's like you're in a real state of ecstasy. And that is an experience of a full body orgasm. So now we think about orgasm just about one particular feeling, which is the lower chakras and the you know, but we can orgasm in many different ways. And you probably have experiences in your life, you know, for instance, if you have
I'm virgin.
For instance, after plant medicine ceremony, you know, in the morning, there's so much bliss inside of you that you have, it's almost an orgasmic feeling. Yes. Or sometimes when we eat something that's so good, I mean, it's like, oh my God, this is orgasmic. So there's different types of.
You must be releasing some sort of chemical.
Absolutely. Endorphins.
Or
endorphins. And so what it is that we always think of orgasm about this one thing, but we got to open up our mind to think about orgasms or orgasmic experiences in such a broader way, because there's so much variety of experiencing bliss and ecstasy. So in sacred sexuality or in Tantra, one of the main teachings is that, and how to achieve that.
With the breath.
With the breath, and obviously also with circulation with the energies and other more intimate practices, but the main thing is the breath.
So you can have that all day long, doing the dishes.
Yeah. So this is another thing in sacred sexuality. So ideally, the man learns how to hold his semen. It's just called semen retention. And I know a lot of men think now, oh my God, like, how would that work? That's going to hurt me. You know, I'm not going to hold my semen. So, but there's a way how to practice semen retention. And a lot of ancient teachings, for instance, in acupuncture, in the Chinese medicine, they say it's the semen. When you spill the semen as a man, you lose your youth. You lose your longevity. So when you learn how to practice semen retention, you don't lose so much energy. And if you really look into it, the only reason why you would spill your semen as a man is to make babies. But it has really no other reason. And vice versa, it's the same thing for us women. We feel like if the man didn't spill his semen, we feel that the sex was incomplete, or we feel that we didn't perform right. Mm-hmm. So it's a big misconception about what spilling the semen actually is, because if all men would know how to practice semen retention, not have that primal instinct of just spilling the semen everywhere they go, then also, again, the world disease of sexuality would be healed a lot more, because that's the primal force, is the spilling the semen is behind these diseases.
That's a big project for you.
It's huge. It can be done though.
We'll never run out of clients.
Yeah, it doesn't, it's not only men, you know, it's also, like I said, it's also women. We have a misconception of what it is to satisfy men. We have a like I said, about thinking that if he didn't spill his semen, we think it wasn't satisfying. A man that knows how to do semen retention can orgasm just without spilling the semen. So he still has an orgasm, and actually he can have the most amazing ecstatic orgasms, but he's just not spilling it. And it also helps the woman, because every time the man is inside of a woman, every time he spills his seed inside of her, she receives that, and the blueprint is going to be always inside of the woman in the womb. It's going to be imprinted there. And this is why we get very, very attached also oftentimes to men. So if you ever had a relationship, I had relationships where the semen was never or very rarely spilled, and I realized that when it came to separation, that it was emotionally not that heartbreaking, or that neediness, that I wanted, it wasn't there, or not in that intensity. Yeah, not in that intensity.
Or maybe in the spiritual realm, we call it the bond.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Exactly. Just because it is more of a respectful way and not so much of a codependency that creates, especially through sex, right? So learning these practices is very, very healing, not only for the world, but also individually for us, because we go through relationships very differently. We go through arguments very differently, because we learn how to honor the other body. We learn how to honor that soul. We also see the person very, very different when we learn how to really go into the practice of eye gazing and listening to the soul, and strengthening and deepen that connection. With that, we have a different understanding of what this other soul in front of us actually is. And
basically loving your partner from your heart, not from your lower chakras.
Basically, yes. Thank you for summing it up.
First, you respect and you love, and you're more here. Talk, your throat chakra, your heart, and your lower chakras are secondary. But I know many people who fight like cats and dogs, and then they make up. Great sex, connection is unbelievable. They cannot break up. But it's a toxic relationship
because of the sex. Yeah, it's a dilemma, because a lot of people, most people, are in relationships because of the sex, and everything else is not really working. But it creates, like I said, such a codependency, and it creates so much pain for both sides, more for women most of the time than men, because women catch on that energy, energetically. Their womb holds onto the energy. So after that, they have to do cleansings and prayers and all kinds of things to get the energy out again. But
that's why doing yoni steams are very good.
Yoni steams, yoni eggs, there's tons of different womb meditations and cord cutting exercises. There's so much you can do, but yes.
So many interviews to record, but before we jump deeper into that, I want to know about your September 11 in Miami. You have a one-day retreat coming up. So what will you be, can you tell us the details?
So this one in Miami, I'm going to do with Kevin Walton. Is a very sacred brother of mine. He's an amazing role model as a divine masculine. And we are going to be in North Miami. It's a small retreat, so we try to keep it small just because of the circumstances right now, what's going on in the world. And we will be learning a lot about creating intimate spaces, and what we just were talking about, how to really see the other, not only physically, but beyond that, and see beyond the beauty, beyond the beauty of the physics, see beyond that, connect with the soul, and really feel seen. Because I think that is what most people struggle. They don't feel seen in sexuality, or we are like an autopilot and we do something because we always do it, but actually we would like to experience or do something differently, but then we don't know how to address it. And so we want to create a space where we can really tune into what is it that my body and my soul and my heart actually really craves. What is it that I really want? And also just receiving. For a lot of people, especially for women, it's really hard to receive, actually. This is why we women always say, oh, no, it's fine. You can come. I don't mind. I don't have to come. It's fine. I still have fun. This is the woman that has a hard time to receive, has a hard time to take time for herself and honor herself for what her needs actually are. And vice versa too. Men also go through things like that. I'm not saying that men are always like whatever, there's a lot of men that are very
cultural, actually. It's very cultural. I'm Turkish, and in my culture growing up, woman always serves the men. we're the one who makes the dinner, do the dishes, clean the house. And my mom worked as much as my father worked, but she still did everything. But my father was an angel, so he would make food, and he was not like I grew up with an amazing dad, but in general, woman does everything. I totally get it. And some cultures, men doesn't feel appreciated if they step into the feminine, because the woman is like, that's not your job, or why are you crying, or like we have this empowering each other, or I would totally appreciate if my husband cried in front of me, not like a needy baby, but if he had an emotional problem and be vulnerable with me and sit down with me, I would like hug him and love him even more, instead of pretending to be the Mr. Strong. So, I get it. And if your healing modality helps people get into their heart more, I'm all about it. I want to ask you a question because this energy that we're talking about is super powerful manifesting energy. And I'm also a Kundalini teacher as well, but we always, practice moving the energy up in our spine. And we have we do the lock with the breath, and then we just pull the energy up. Is there any technique that you are teaching your attendees?
Yeah. Definitely, I'm teaching that similar technique on my retreat, and I will also teach the technique how to achieve a full body orgasm. And actually, some people do in the retreat, and some people don't. Some people go home and practice.
They're in their heads probably, and they're probably shy and boundaries.
It's all mental. I mean, especially when it comes to sexuality, we all know it's all mental. And some people are just more in their head about it, and some are not. But definitely, I'm teaching that technique. And it's very beautiful.
When you're talking about all this stuff, I'm getting this feelings of I can't believe she said that. I can't believe she said that on camera. Like, I still have, I'm not gonna lie, those are my triggers. I'm very close-minded in many ways. I'm super old school. I haven't done crazy things growing up, like you just save yourself for your husband and all that. That's how I grew up. So I don't even talk about sexuality or sexual things on, at home, and forget it in the, Instagram. Like, this is like, I'm getting a little red, but it's good. That means I have things to work on. And
it's good that you're conscious about it. It's beautiful. And
I watch everything.
And you grew up in Turkey, back then. Now it's like easier, but back then it's also different culture. I grew up in Germany. In Germany, the women in the Second World War, because so many men died in war, they were the ones that rebuilt Germany. So our women in Germany are extremely strong. We're all working. It's very 50-50. It's very balanced in that we actually...
I know, it's very 50-50. Are you being German on me?
Yeah, no, it's actually, honestly, I think sometimes the German women are actually too strong. We're way too much in our yang, we really like kind of bash on the men, like, you have no freaking clue. I'm the boss here, so it's very, and it's our history also. It's no way, knowing where we come from, and how we were built through our grandmothers and great grandmothers. And so, but that also needs healing. Some people can say, oh my God, this is amazing.
It's like the pendulum went all the way up.
So all the way. Yeah.
In order for pendulum to get balance, we have to go a little bit back and forth. And I see that. I see that all the time. And when I want to manifest something, or if I'm in the market for something, I always think about that energy, and I actually create with that energy, and I see everything already. It's done. I send it to the ether, and it's done.
I think what most people don't know or underestimate is like the sexual energy is the most powerful energy. Like when you orgasm, it's like when you're in an orgasm, you will orgasm no matter what. If somebody comes into the room, you will not be able to hold it. It's like the energy is so strong in your body, and a lot of people don't understand how powerful that energy is, and you're generating this on your own. It's
Yeah,
not that you have to go to a healer that generates energy for you. It's like you are doing this, your own body generates that, and
that's
you can
right.
work with this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can work with this, especially people that have like porn addictions and stuff and have to like masturbate several times a day. You're like constantly depleting your energy for no reason really, when you know that you can use that energy for something like manifestation or other things, or even connecting to the higher realms and getting messages. You can use that energy. It's a portal, it's a portal that you can
We make
open.
babies out of
And
it, right? The babies come from, I mean, we came out of that energy. We're light beings.
mhm. Yeah, so if people would just understand that, and or not only understand it, I think some people that hear of it are very curious about it, but if everybody would just learn it, again, we could diminish, so many issues of
Yes.
that sexual disease that we have in this world.
Entire marketing world runs on that.
Exactly, everything runs on it. And we're
Or, yeah.
both equally, actually, we women are more guilty than men, because women, we are the one, we're also unconsciously, because of not knowing, creating that for men. We're constantly feeding into the lower chakras, and it's also like many women operating on the lower chakras without really understanding. They're not doing it consciously.
Mm.
But if I twerk my butt twice a day on Instagram, of course I'm going to get 2 million followers, and everybody's like, "Ugh," but what I do is like, I'm just feeding into that energy constantly. I'm also attracting that energy. So a lot of women also, when they then complain that men are all assholes, is because this is what you're attracting constantly,
Yeah.
because you're feeding into the lower energies constantly. So
Everybody is your reflection.
yeah, so we women hold that key. We hold that key to heal our men too. The priestesses back then in the temples, were the ones that were healing men when they came to the temple. And so we hold keys that, I don't want to say that men don't hold, but we do hold these keys in our hands. And if we as women can respect our temples more and learn more about these teachings, then our men will follow. How I always say, oh, the men, they're like dogs, they just do whatever I do, or he just does whatever I say. So because a lot of men don't have that, even in the education, that really developed to think on their for themselves. And so we have to, as women, learn how to really navigate it in the right way. And so our men will start navigating it also in the right way. It's one thing if I have a one night stand with a guy and I say, oh, I can just give you a blowjob and it's fine. And he's like, okay, fine, perfect, and he's just having it. Or have a one night stand with a man and tell him, I would like to sit with you and eye gaze, and I would like to breathe together. And we don't have to necessarily have intercourse, but maybe we can just breathe and have a full body orgasm. And he's gonna be like, what the fuck? But in the same time, if it's a beautiful man, he's like, I'm down for it. I want to try. I know a lot of men that very, very intrigued. And actually, I know a lot of men that call me and say, my wife is not into it, but I really want to learn. So
Mm.
there is a lot,
Yeah.
So yeah, just whatever we're creating, is
Yeah, man of head of the house, we say, but the woman is the neck.
mhm.
That's what my mom always used to say. And my mom
True.
used to say, yeah, your dad will do whatever I
You
say,
say
but let him think he made the decision.
exactly. My mom would say the same thing. But we say after every president is a wiser woman or a more powerful woman, and we hold a lot of things. Women hold a lot of codes, and we can hold them also for our men. And if you read the Mary Magdalene script, when she describes how she initiated Jesus, it was because she was holding already all the keys. And because of Jesus getting together with her, he initiated his fullest power, and it made him so powerful because of her,
Interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. Okay, I have to let everyone know that you're going to be in LA and I will be hosting you with my
Yeah.
sister Ari. We're going to be in Artha Health Sanctuary. I will announce the
Excited.
dates. We're going to have a day-long retreat. and I'm definitely attending. Also as a student, not just
Better.
not just as organizer. And it will be open to couples and men and women, singles, whatever. This is so important. This is so beautiful. I'm super excited to host you.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so honored, and I'm so excited. The space is so amazing. So I'm very, very
I
excited to
know,
be here.
and Ari is amazing too. And Natalie and I, we're in a mastermind group that we talk all the time, but she and I will be creating a lot more retreats and
Yes.
events, so you can join us and we can share all these healing modalities with you all.
Yes. So to speak, let's orgasm on it and manifest it. So what should I do? Why don't you just orgasm on it? Okay.
The new way of talking. Oh my goodness, I love it. Hopefully my daughter is not listening.
Why? She should just learn. My sons know already how to do it. My sons know everything about it, and they know the breath techniques and everything. So it's very important. Why would she not? She should. The earlier the better.
Yeah.
Our kids need the healing.
She's still too innocent and such a baby. She's not there yet. But yeah. I think next year they start sex ed in schools or something. I don't know. She knows about it. She's not stupid, but and I told her, I said, you can ask me anything. She looked at me, she rolled her eyes and she ran out of the room.
It's like, Mom, this is so annoying.
It's like, not with you. I'm like, okay, now I have you. No, you can talk to her. Yes, so important. It's so super important.
Our kids need it. Our kids need it, the next generation, especially with TikToks and everything going on. They need it a lot.
Not in any of that. She's still super innocent. She's still a kid. She looks big because she's tall, but she just draws and she does digital art and all that boring stuff for me, but she enjoys it. But thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
I love you so much, and I will talk to you in an hour.
Yes. On a 24/7 line.
Exactly. Well, you go to sleep. You're in Miami, and I'm going to get on with life after we hang up. And thank you so much, all of you, for tagging along. And I will post all the details for September 11th, and I will let you guys know about LA dates as well.
Yes, super excited. Thank you. I love you.